So the first thing that I'm going to go through is mindset. And what I don't mean is the fluffy, positive thoughts, kumbaya, get some marshmallows around a campfire. I'm not talking about that. I really want us to go over it and spend maybe the next 30, 40 minutes on the mindset that allowed me and allowed other people that have done really well in wholesaling to actually succeed. So this is how we approach, how we view, what we think about, how we think about this industry in general, how we think about scaling, building a team, all of that. So we're going to spend a couple minutes here, guys, and I want you to be asking questions as we go. Me and Luke will coordinate the best way to get those questions sent over to me, probably still on Slack, Luke. But we will get these questions answered as we go. So we're going to go through mindset. We're going to go through what we need in order to be successful. We're going to go through buyers and sellers. So those are my 4 topics for you guys today. And again, these can be as long or as short as need be, depending on your questions. Highly would recommend, if you guys are not doing minimum 1 deal a month, I recommend you guys have some questions prepped, ready to go. Cool? So let's dive right in. So first and foremost, what is wholesaling? And if you guys have done this before, this might be a little bit of an overview. What is wholesaling? What this is simply connecting a buyer and a seller with a contract. This is the connection. It's all we're doing. Why people complicate it more than that, I do not know. We have a buyer that wants to buy. We have a seller that wants to sell. We are connecting, or we are bridging this with a very, very simple contract right here. Now we can go as crazy as we want to go. We can make this, again, we can make this very, very complicated, but it really is not. This is very simple. People have been doing this for, I don't know, decades at minimum. It's not simple, it's not complicated, but for some reason, people try to make it more complicated. This is 3 parts. Typically the sellers, why would a seller want to sell to me and not sell to a real estate agent? Typically these sellers are dealing with some sort of a problem. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but a lot of real estate agents do not know how to solve problems. They do not understand how to solve most problems. They want the pretty house that is, 3-bed, 2-bath, completely remodeled. They want, the guy that is going to sell it for asking or more because they want to make a commission. But when I'm talking about problems, I'm talking about stuff like a divorce. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but real estate agents really don't want to be involved in this. These are things like pre-foreclosure. Okay, somebody hasn't been paying their mortgage payment. The bank is not happy about it, and they're sending notices that, hey, on this date, we are going to foreclose on you. Foreclose means you are going to leave the property and we will now own the property. Regardless of how much money you've paid us, regardless of how long you've lived here, we now own this property and you cannot be here. Another one that we see very, very often is probate. Probate means that there's a death in the family and the house has to go through probate to change ownership. Judgment, liens. These are all things that real estate agents are not privy to. When you go to become a real estate agent, do you think that you are taught any of this? Absolutely not. Again, these guys are focused mainly on retail. With wholesaling, we focus not on retail. We focus on problems that are unique, that we have a solution for. Does that make sense? We'll get into later how to find these people, how to contact them, but this really is the crux of what we do. So once again, wholesaling is connecting somebody that wants to buy with somebody that needs to sell. And we do this with a very, very simple contract. This contract goes to, I'll put a T. Contract goes to the title company and they facilitate the closing. It is that simple. So on mindset, number one, first and foremost, what is wholesaling? That is where we're at. So who is this a good fit for? Wholesaling specifically, who's this a good fit for? I truly believe that wholesaling is a great option for anybody that is trying to get started in real estate. That does not mean that wholesaling is only for newbies or only for beginners. There are people that have been in this industry for literally decades that still wholesale. Okay? So who's it for? Is it for newbies? No, it's really not. It's for anybody that is looking to attain cash in their businesses. Okay, this could be real estate agents. This could be people that fix and flip. This could be people that have a rental portfolio. Just the random average Joe off of the street. But it's really a fit for people that want to influx cash. Cool? I think it's also a really good fit for people that want a little bit of both, cash and cash flow. Businesses cannot and will not survive without both. So on the mindsets, guys, this is not get rich quick. I don't care what guru you follow. I don't care how many videos you've watched on YouTube. This is not get rich quick. A lot of times we see people that post, hey, you can do a wholesale deal in 30 days. Can you? Yeah. The quickest that I've ever seen is 21 days. His name was Paris. He was out of Charlotte, North Carolina. This is not the normal. This is, I would say that maybe 1% of people are going to accomplish this. I mean, you really, really got to be a hustler. You really got to be moving quickly. So when I say not get rich quick, it's not a quick means to gain cash. Now, can it be a consistent way to gain cash? Yes, it can. Can it be profitable for you to build this out? Absolutely. But from a mindset standpoint, you've got to understand this is not get rich quick. Average on these guys, nationwide, 10K. So we could do the math on this, guys, but from a raise standpoint, the average raise per year is 2 to 3%. This is across the board in a multitude of different industries. 2 to 3% is what you might get as a raise. One wholesale deal literally will blow this out of the water. So if you just want to outwork or outsmart people in corporate America, maybe you've got a friend that maybe he has a really good W-2 job and he's working at an attorney's office. He's like, yeah, man, I just got a 3% raise. One wholesale deal would accomplish that in a heartbeat. Probably would get you more like 5 to 8% as a raise. Cool, man. Well, I just did a $10,000 deal. I got paid all up front, by the way. I didn't have to go out and work 12 months for that. Got paid up front, $10,000. And really, I added like 8% to my income. So this is one deal. A lot of times when people jump into the kingdom and the sphere and kind of the world that we live in, we're really pushing them to get one deal a month. Okay. So is this get rich quick? Absolutely not. Can you make great money? Yes. For a lot of people, 10K is a game changer. Can you get to one a month? Absolutely. It's not difficult. Okay. Makes sense? So this is not get rich quick, but you can make absolutely wonderful money with this. Next up is hustle. People get this wrong. Like, man, I don't want to be a wholesaler because I don't want to be a hustler. Okay? Why don't you build a business out of it? Why don't we put in a little bit more effort and a little bit more time? We actually build a business out of this. So the difference between a hustler and a CEO. Once again, guys, this is the mindset that would allow you to be very successful in this business. A hustler has, well, let's go here. CEO has systems. They have a process. They have what we call KPIs, which is a key performance indicator. You can even just call it data. They have data. They can scale. They can eventually replace themselves. These are the things that a CEO is looking at and a business owner is looking at. Whereas a hustler, it's the opposite. It's chaos. It is, instead of a process, it's kind of just kind of wing it, man. Just kind of feel it. Rather than having data, I guess. Feels like I'm doing pretty good this month. Rather than scaling, they're one-man band. Okay? Because they're a one-man band, there is no replacement. If they leave, the money stops. So there is a bad mindset here that, man, wholesaling's just for hustlers. I don't want to be a hustler. Okay, why don't you become a CEO? Why don't you build a business out of this? Why don't you build something that's scalable? Build something that you can eventually leave. Build something that you can eventually walk away from. These guys, the second they stop marketing or going to meetups or whatever people do, second they stop, the money stops. Okay? So we can replace this very, very easily. Passive and credit. Let's talk about passive and credit. So the other misconception is people jump into real estate because they want passive income. A lot of people, their end game is, I want passive income so that I can eventually leave my job. I want something repeatable and something that's duplicatable. For the most part, this is probably not going to be wholesaling. Okay? Now, again, you can work really, really hard and get your system, process, KPI, scalable replacement, sure. And I think that's a wonderful idea. But for the most part, this is not passive. But I want to show you guys what you can do. And if you guys have been watching any of my trainings lately in the Kingdom Center, this is going to look really familiar with you. So let's go back to that 10K check. Okay? Let's say you do want to eventually try to get this to an element of passivity. That 10K check, you can go and invest that, number one, either back into your business, or number two, just put business here, or number two, you could invest that into cash flow. You could invest this anywhere between 7 and 20% a month. Maybe you do a second deal. You're now looking at 20K invested and getting passive income. Does that make sense? So you can build something, and you can build this system where you're doing deals, you're collecting money, you're investing that money, and then eventually you probably don't even have to wholesale anymore because your passive income is going to be actually more than this $10,000 check. It all just depends on what you want. What do you want? What do you want to build? I want to build something where I can just disappear eventually and just not have to deal with people because I'm sick and tired of people. This is how you do it. If I only want to be a wholesaler and this is going to be my full-time gig, I'm not going to be able to accomplish that. So you guys really need to determine, what do you want? What's appealing to you? Okay? Another misconception, and this is kind of going into a little bit more of the tactic. Another misconception is I've got to have good credit to do this. I've got to be bankable. Wholesaling requires zero credit. It does not require you to be bankable. It does not require you to have a lot of money, but you do need some money. Okay? You've got to have some money to be able to market. You've got to have some money to be able to operate a business. But outside of that, people think of real estate and real estate investing as, Got to have a 650 or up credit score. I've got to have enough money for 20% down. None of that is accurate. None of that is a mindset that we would want to have with wholesaling. Cool? Cool. Because if we have any questions, do not hesitate to post them. Luke's going to send them to me on Slack. I will see them. I will answer them as we go. This is all mindset based. This is all the things that you need to understand, and you need to have a belief system around this if you're going to succeed, if you're going to be successful in this industry. Cool? Yeah. Is this an intro point or lifelong business? I don't see why it can't be both. Is it an intro or is it lifelong? Guys, when we build this out, when we're truly looking at building a business, when I say intro, again, I mean it's just for newbies. It's for people that aren't professionals. It's for people that aren't really taking real estate seriously. No. In fact, I know wholesalers that make a lot more money than people that fix and flip. I know wholesalers that make a lot more money than people that have rental properties. Okay? Let's just do the math on this. $10,000. $10,000. The average on a single family rental is $200. You see where I'm going with this? It would take somebody, what did I just say? 50. It would take somebody 50 rental properties to get $10,000 a month. 50 rental properties to get $10,000 a month. So is this an intro business or is this a lifelong business? Is this something that you can build and build and build and build and compound and cash flow and then invest that money? Absolutely. So from a mindset standpoint, I don't want you guys to think that this is just for newbies. It's not low end. It's not shameful. None of that. Every single one of these things is a bad mindset. It's not dirty. Okay? Now, I will say this, guys. I do not believe, personally, this is my personal opinion, I do not believe that you should only wholesale. Okay? Again, if you stop working, you're screwed. If you stop marketing, you are screwed. There's nothing passive about this unless you've truly built a business. But even if you've built a business, you've got to keep in mind that you still have to operate the business. You still have to market, and you still have to be signing contracts and making offers, all of that. Okay? Where we want to get to, and this is really the point that I'm trying to make, where we want to get to is as follows. You guys can hear my whiteboard squeaking. I do apologize. This thing has been beat up. Where we want to get to is as follows. We want to get to a place where we have marketing going on, getting in front of people, and then we determine what solves their problem. Is it a wholesale? Should we wholesale the property? Should we keep it? Should we flip it? Maybe you, let me add another one. Maybe you partner with somebody on it. Right now, there's a lot of wholesalers that are making great money just partnering with other people. Whether that's a JV, whether that is somebody that's actually flipping it, and instead of charging them some sort of a assignment fee, you're actually partnering with them on the deal. There's a lot of people that are being really, really smart right now. They're partnering over getting an assignment fee. So eventually you do want to get to a place where you understand what's the best option for this deal. Partner, flip it, keep it, wholesale it. Okay? Right now, in my life, I'm a little bit more interested in keeping it. This would be my number one priority. Well, guess what? I don't want to keep everything. Sometimes the property is not a good option. My second option is I can wholesale it. I'm not a huge fan of flipping, so I'm going to cross that one off. My third option would be to partner with somebody on it. This is just where I'm at. But there's multiple options, and there's multiple avenues, and there's multiple paths that you can take if you can get good at marketing. We're going to talk about that here in just a little bit. Make sense? Let's keep on moving here. So it doesn't have to be intro. It doesn't have to be beginner. Next thing on the mindset. You guys still with me? Everybody still awake? Luke, did everybody leave yet? Not sure if they're awake. Pretty quiet. Come on, guys. Jordan, we don't want any mindset stuff. Well, that's fine. Okay, cool. Wow. Guys, I made $500,000 in 10 months wholesaling. I'm trying to show you how I did that. We're gonna get into the tactic stuff, but if you don't understand the mindset stuff, you're dead in the water anyways. So next up is houses or people. This will wake him up, Luke. I'm gonna try to draw. Boop. Here's a roof, house, or this is really, really good. People. This is a misconception, and people don't understand this. Real estate has nothing to do with houses. So if you just love architecture, I love architecture, and I love the classic buildings, and it has nothing to do with houses. Okay? You don't need to know anything about real estate. You don't need to know anything about single family or multifamily or roofing or anything. All you need to learn is people. All we're doing, remember the things that I told you that we needed in order to complete a deal. You need a buyer, a seller, and a contract. So we've got to get this. I'm in real estate. Real estate normally means housing. Okay? I don't actually wholesale real estate. I don't wholesale boxes. What I do is I problem solve for people that are in a very, very unique situation that need a lot of help. So when I realized that, man, it has nothing to do with the building, has everything to do with people. What I started to do is I started to study and I started to learn people. Okay? What can I learn about people? What can I learn about human emotion? What can I learn about persuasion? Not in a manipulative way, but in a positive, impactful way. What can I learn about NEPQ, neuro-emotional persuasion questioning? How can I understand these people better? We're going to talk about avatar and copywriting here in just a little bit. Okay, so I stopped focusing on houses. A lot of you guys love to look at houses. You go to Zillow and Trulia and Realtor.com and the MLS and ForSaleByOwner.com. You go look at houses as if that has anything to do with this industry. It doesn't. I'm not saying go look at people because that's creepy. Luke, that's creepy. Don't go people looking, you weirdo. But understand that this is about just solving problems for people that live in the building. Okay? Forget the building. Who lives in the building? What problems live in the building? Okay? So instead of this is 3-bed, 2-bath, single family built in 1789, this is really struggling widow that now has judgments and liens, etc., and is in probate. It's not 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,800 square foot, struggling widow. As I'm telling you, when I learned that, when I switched my mindset, I switched my belief, I started making buku money. Problems are going to equal money. The bigger the problem, the more money you're going to make. This is why guys like William Bonnell works on deals for like over a year. And I know you guys don't want to hear that. I don't have a year, Jordan. I gotta make money like right now. And I would never work on a deal for a year. Uh-huh. We've got guys that are in California that they only do 2 or 3 deals a year. Five, 10, 15, 20, 25. So this is the scale. This is one of the most important skills that you need to learn in real estate. The money comes the greater the problem is. So if this was a graph and the problem was getting bigger, the farther out you go, the more money you make. Smaller problems, smaller money. Medium problems, medium money. Guys, you don't have to do 100 deals a year. Again, there's people I know that are in California, they do like 4 or 5 deals, and those deals are like 100K. Can you imagine only having to talk to or work with 4 or 5 people, and you're making $400 through $500,000 a year? Is that possible? Why am I talking about mindset? Because if I can help change your mindset, your income can be very, 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 very impacted. Bigger problem, more money. Sometimes that requires more time. But if I'm making 100K and it takes me 6 months to do the deal, what's 100,000 divided by 6? That's a pretty good monthly income. And if I can do 4 or 5 of those in the course of a year, make $400,000 to $500,000, guys, you might only want to make one. Remember when I was talking about the average per raise in the United States? It's like 2 to 3%. This would cover you for like 10 years worth of raises. Your buddy from college, hey man, how's that real estate going? I just got a raise from my boss. 3% raise. I just made $100,000 for doing very little by literally helping somebody. What? How do I do that? That'll never work. Okay, but let me know how everything's going over at the old job. All right, everybody, I hope you enjoyed what you just heard, and I hope you got value out of it. If you would like to continue the conversation and see if you might be a good fit for our community, there's a waitlist down below. Check it out. We'll get in touch with you as soon as we can. Have a great day.